Oh my God, look at that camera. What am I going to do? Jesus. Can't even come on straight. There it is. Hello, everybody. Surprise, Random Wednesday. Random Wednesdays, what it is. But it looks like I got some people here, a few here and there. Good to see you guys. Danny, Mark, Jay. Hey, Jay, how's it going? Angel's here too. And Sharon was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but she was here really early. But I'm glad you guys are here. I just had some time. I've been working real hard today, getting ready for my camp trip. So I thought, as I was getting ready today, I thought, man, Jen was going through all this last week, getting ready to go to Whitehall and go see Joe. And she just was on my mind today. So I thought I would see if she was off work and if she'd like to come on, her and Trackway, to talk a little bit about their Whitehall, and also Enzo somewhere down there. But let's do this the right way, shall we? Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you?
Tired.
Was it a full day, an 8-hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have for you. Well, you can sit there and you can eat your dinner and chit chat with us. It's just a nice little get together. But let's bring on, who's next? Who can I find? Enzo, hello. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. I was starting to think I was the figment of your imagination.
Yeah. And I thought, well, God, now I can't. Because last week I had the show by myself because he was somewhere. And now I'm going camping, so we're not going to have a show again on Friday.
So I thought, screw that Friday thing. I'm tired of doing it. You could
forget it. No, I don't want to do that. I have fun on my Friday mornings. But so that's why I threw you out a link to see what you were up to.
I'm glad you did, because it woke me up. I was asleep on the couch. I was like, what is that noise?
What is that? Oh, it's her.
I gotta go.
Well, I'm happy you're here. And look at that behind you. It's a busy night over there. For sure.
Back there.
Yeah. One more to bring on. Hello, Mr. Trackway.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Jen. Hi, Enzo.
Oh, you guys, how are you doing, Track?
Not bad. I am juggling new pets, so
Oh,
I get away from one and the other hops in my lap.
No. Puppies or kittens or what?
Both.
Oh, okay.
So we just rescued or adopted a cat that had a broken leg, and she is just a happy, a little lovable cat. And then 2 days later, we got a puppy, a Shepherdor.
Shepherdor.
Yes.
Okay.
And part German Shepherd,
Yeah.
part Labrador, and
adorable.
what's that?
And she's adorable.
She's about 35 pounds now, and she's just a wrecking ball. So
everywhere and everything. So I thought I was going to bring Enzo on, like I said earlier, because I hadn't seen him in a long time. And I wasn't sure if Jen or you, Track, were going to be able to come on and let us know about what happened last weekend with your Whitehall adventure. And I now want to know about Enzo's adventure last week at his little paranormal doodah he went to. So who wants to start first? I want to know about Rasta's area is what I really want to know, how that night went. But you got to spend some time with Alex Petikoff, and you also got to spend time with Steve Coles.
Mm-hmm.
Who else am I missing? Who else was there?
Mike from CARC.
Tactical Bigfoot. Okay.
No. Mike Ann didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
He had a family thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A lot of Sasquatch Wizard Adirondack was with us.
Oh, Jonathan. Right.
Steve Coles, Evan, and he's a sound specialist. I'm not quite sure of his name yet, but him and his girlfriend was there. Eric, the guy that did the documentary for with Central Florida Bigfoot, was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike. And I didn't catch the other guy's name. Jim? Was it Jim?
Yes, Jim. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that he's a member of Steve's team. He was up there holding down the spot.
All I can tell you for sure is that, in the video, I was able to get my GoPro up in the windshield at that moment, and the video of the convoy is pretty impressive.
Wow.
And I was behind him, and Alex was behind me. So there's his point of view. There were still two more cars behind him.
It looked like looked like a snake flying through the hills and all the dust and in the dark.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. We're driving up, and because Steve's like, gone.
Well, he knows where he's going.
Everybody's like tromping on it to try and keep up with him, and there's just this dust cloud. You couldn't see anything. It's like, those are taillights. Okay. Follow the taillights.
Oh, and yeah. I mean, he's just romping on it. It's like, wow. So
that sounds fun. I mean, we only followed, Thomas out there, and we were like, he doesn't know where he's going. We got to follow his GPS, though. It was fun. It was still, it's a great feeling to know you're headed out somewhere like that. So, wow, that's a big turnout. Who stayed the night though? All of you?
Trackway, me, Alex, Mike from CRC, and I can never remember the documentary guy's name again.
It's Eric's first name.
Eric. There's 5 of us. We pulled in, I think there's like 11 cars in total.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Took up the whole parking area. And Alex had to go and park sideways at the end because there wasn't another spot for him to fit. and then everybody else bugged out, and then there was just the 5 cars left that we all car camped overnight.
Ah, wow. Nice, nice. So everybody got to see your bedhead in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Not. She wakes up and her hair is perfect. I'm letting you know that. It's just mine's all straight up in the air. I have to put a hat on my head because it's crazy. But
actually, it was kind of funny because that morning of the Whitehall trip, she woke up and was locked in her car for a couple hours until I got up.
Well, no, I wasn't. It was a couple hours.
Oh, an hour? Yeah,
Not
geez, yeah.
But I didn't realize.
Kind of funny because I step out of my truck walking around.
The way I set up the car, like fold down the bigger half of the 60/40 seat, put the airbed and then set on that side, and get in and out on the driver's side. Well, I couldn't get out because the child door lock was turned on that side. So like I crammed. So the airbed that I had is like from the base of my car to the top of my car seat is 66 inches, and then you can extend the headrest out.
yeah.
But this airbed is 78 inches. So, move the front seat up and just lay it in there. It's fine. It'll work. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Well, that night, I was like, I didn't even tell him this at the time. There's this one spot behind us. I didn't want to give it my back to stand there and futz around with it. So I just crammed that thing in the back seat of my car, and it went up my passenger side back window, like to the top.
Oh.
And I just crammed myself in there and slept in the back seat that night.
Oh my goodness.
And then I woke up in the morning. I'm like, fiddled around and got my shoes on. And I went to get out, and I'm like, and then I couldn't get to the other door handle because it was behind the mattress and it was all crammed in there. So when he gets up and he's putzing around the back of the truck, I'm like knocking on the window. Let me out. Let me out.
Actually, I had gotten out of my truck and was across the road and walking up and down the road for a bit before I walked behind it. And I was like, oh. I was like, whoa, okay.
Because I didn't even know if you were up or not, because I looked over and I didn't see you anywhere. But I figured, well, because you're sleeping on that backseat airbed in your truck, so I figured, well, he might still be asleep. So, and then I saw you walk by in the truck. I'm like, hey. Yeah.
You would have had to start honking the horn and get me out
of here.
Speaking of honking the horn,
yeah.
So
what?
I had the little issue up there in Whitehall after Steve and all them left, and we're all situated and getting ready to call it a night. And I get in my truck and I lock it, and I realize the windows are all the way up. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have condensation in this thing. So I lean forward, put the key in the ignition. I turn the ignition and lower the windows down, and I look at the info screen. It goes, you got 3 seconds before the alarm goes off. I'm like, what? So in the middle of the night, my car alarm's going off, and I'm like, start the engine. And I don't know what I did next, but a minute later, it happened again. So then it dawned on me, I have to get out of the truck and physically open and close the driver's door to not have that alarm go off from the inside.
Oh.
And then first thing in the morning, I go to get out of the truck, and I just pull the back seat latch up and hop out, and the car alarm goes right off again.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, well, I guess we're up now.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to be discreet because
Alex slept through everything. Alex was out.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, those guys had a busy day. They were.
Yeah,
they was pretty worn out.
Yeah, they did their talks. They had their tables, and then they both judged the calling contest.
I saw the pictures on Steve's on Cole's show. The ones he showed. That's pretty impressive amount of people at that place. Looks like I might have to take a trip over there next year. It looks pretty awesome. So, but Whitehall, how did you like Whitehall? The whole conference, or what is it? A festival? Is it called
a festival?
Yeah.
Festival. Lots of vendors, a little bit of everything. By the time we got there, most of the food trucks had sold out.
Oh wow!
They weren't planning on the crowd that they got. So we rolled up in there and went and got some mac and cheese.
We was pretty much starving at the time.
Oh wow! Hey Sandra, Sandra just came in. Oh, Mrs. Trackway's here. Nice to see you.
Hi, Dad.
Yep.
Hey guys. I don't know if I missed anybody else, but good to see you guys. That sounds awesome. I know I kept watching for trying to pay attention if you were going to do any lives out there, and I know Coles did a couple of crazy ones, as people were coming to his little booth thing. But that's awesome that you guys got to do that. But one of the most important things is that you got to see Joe. You got to see Joe. Yep. And how was that?
It was awesome. I got to hug Joe.
Yeah. I know. I was so jealous. I want to share it. Can I share this picture to everybody? Just to the, to the guys, to the normal guys. I showed them the picture and we were all like, oh, but I thought that was great that you got to go over there and to do that. So important, right now.
That was like, like my store was closing for refurb, and then it was just like, I'm going to New York. I'm taking some time off. I'm taking these days that were closed. I'm taking the rest of that week, and I'm going to New York. And they were like, and I'm like, no, I'm going to New York. And I was like, this is why. And as soon as I said why, the store manager, he's like, do you need a hug? The time is granted. If you need more, call me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
you've been to the West Coast and the East Coast.
Yeah, I've met like almost everybody this year.
You're like a jet setter for sure, for sure. That's great though. I mean, I'm glad you did that. You kind of brought us with you. We all wish we could have been there as well. And I'm sure Joe was ecstatic about that.
Yeah, I had a list of wishes from chats. Tell Joe, hug Joe, tell Joe. So I gave him all the messages, and if anybody in the chat gave me a message to give Joe, I gave it to him.
Nice.
And he wants everybody to know that he loves you all and appreciates every little bit of it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And Friday night, Joe will actually be on Pine Island Research with Jeff, and he's going to retell his Rasta encounter on Friday night. What time was that at? 7?
I think Eastern? It's 7 Eastern, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't make it because I'll be out in the mountains. Unless for some weird way I get a signal, then I'll come in from out there. But I know I'll be forgiven, and I know Joe knows that I love the dude, and it'll be great for him to go on there and tell his story so that we can have it one more time, and it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, we on the way out on Sunday night, because we went up there twice. on the way out, we're driving out, and I look over at this one spot, and there's this parting in the trees and a path, and I went, that's his spot. We missed it by like that much.
Oh, wow.
We were like right next to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First-
I looked up and I'm like, and we were heading to get on the road to come home. I half debated on just like beeping the horn, but it was bright early in the morning and it would have pissed off probably everybody at the campsite. To get him to come back so he could walk back in there for me to double check it. Because I remember Joe's being out there. He filmed going out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I know what the tree looks like with the branch stuck in it, and I know this and that, and I could place it, if that was the right one. But we didn't get a chance to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we were like right on either side of it.
The sheer beauty of the area was breathtaking, to be honest with you. That part of New York, as well as Whitehall, Rolling Hills, the leaves are just now starting to change colors, and that whole area is just amazing.
Yeah, those sugar maples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So everything was popping, everything was changing colors and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
it's just starting into it. Just starting.
Yep. Nice. Anthony from Unidentified S4 is in the house. I believe it's your birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
It is his birthday today.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Anthony.
He's so busy, man. He puts out so much content. I can't even keep up with it. Yeah. Miss Dill, hello. Hi, Dilly. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and that is the wrong link. Thank God I didn't hit the enter button on that one. Hold on. This will be just a moment. To delete.
What's going on back there, Dicker?
Yeah. I thought I had the link saved on my thing. I did not. Oh my God, that was a long message. It's still going. I'm still hitting the delete.
What in the world?
I know. Hold on. Okay, recopy that, baby. I'm going to put the link now. There we go. Anybody wants to jump on, they're welcome to. But Enzo, it's your turn. I want to hear about what happened with you.
Thank you. Last weekend, I went to the fifth annual Border Town Paracon in Caney, Kansas, which is pretty much the far southeastern corner of Kansas. And we had paranormal investigators come in from Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. Those four states kind of all sort of join up there in that corner. And there's plenty of strange on all in that general area, and we had investigators come in from all over, and it was a free event there at the Caney Rec Center. It's not a giant thing, of course, but I'd say we had about between 30 and 40 people there all the time, and since it was free, people would come in and out. We had a schedule of speakers and stuff like that. We had individual speakers that would speak for about an hour and a half on whatever their specific topic was, and then we had 3 different open panels with like about a dozen of all the speakers there. Where we had a ghost panel, a cryptid panel, and a UFO panel. I was on the UFO panel, which was the very last thing they did, so I was there all day going. People was looking at me awkwardly with my Hawaiian shirt. But still a lot of fun. A lot of people from all over with different ideas and different perspectives on things, and all of us getting together on those panels, kind of intermixing. Between UFO people, ghost people, and Bigfoot people to kind of talk about specific things. And it was interesting because everybody's kind of learning something off of each other, different techniques, or I didn't know that was a thing, that sort of, stuff, conversations going on. And it was basically something that if you knew a bunch of people like that in your general area, it's all of us getting together and talking, and then you're just inviting the public in to kind of sit in and watch us all talk, or even have your own questions. But it was a full day affair. It ran from, I think the doors opened at 9:30 in the morning and closed at about 6. So 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So full day. And what was funny, the night before, Phil, one of the guys he's actually from Caney, along with actually a lot of the other gang from What If Tomorrow podcast that I pop on every once in a while. He's got a remote property just north of Caney. You go out to his place and the sun goes down, you can see every star in the sky. It's really dark. And he invited all of the speakers to come out there and kind of have like a little bonfire thing. He had like pulled pork and chicken and a bunch of, homemade dishes and stuff like that out there. It was good time, good eats. But of course, me being who I am, as soon as the sun went down, I've got my various apps on my phone out and I'm pointing out stars and planets. And
oh, wow.
I have an app that tracks satellites and stuff like that. It's like, Starlink train you see right there. There's the International Space Station. There's the Gaintang Chinese Space Station. And the ghost people were freaking out. I was like, I didn't know you could see all that stuff, because they don't really go outside that much. But it was, we'll make fun of that for a second. But it still had a lot of fun. A lot of people.
Yeah. Did you get recognized?
By one person, actually. And it was mostly because we had met last year north of Wichita. There's a tiny little town of Geneseo, Kansas. And how I know of it was back in the late 1800s when it was formed. It was like a railroad town, like a lot of small towns in that part of Kansas. In the 50s and 60s, they had a doctor there that was kind of like, he was the town doctor, kind of like the region doctor, that was an avid UFO investigator in the 50s and 60s. And they turned his house kind of into the city museum. So you can go back there and see like photos of the town from like 1890 when they first opened their first school, and the graduating class of 2, stuff like that. They have like the original, a lot of history of just small town America in the 1800s. It's very interesting, but they have one large room in this, because it's in this doctor's old house, is where they put the museum, that's just dedicated to all of his UFO research, where he was basically a modern day UFO researcher in the 50s. So he had tons of paperwork everywhere, bundles and bundles of letters, stuff like that. They had a lot of stuff going on up there. And they every day, like early July, they'll have like a UFO day kind of thing where, come to tiny Geneseo, Kansas, and check out this guy's stuff. But the guy that runs that, I recognized, and he recognized me, so we chatted, and I introduced him to all the
everybody.
People there. So that was another new like small town Kansas kind of connection thing that helped make there. Everybody was happy for that.
Oh, hey Eric, Paranormal Highways in the house now. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Okay.
Caucasian. Hey, oops, wrong chat. What? Oh, he made a comment and it was for something else he was watching. Good to see you too. Well, that's good. That sounds awesome. Long day, I suppose. Did you stay or did you drive back that night?
I ended up driving back that night. Well, I went down Friday to help set up everything. So they did the show, of course, Saturday. And then as it turned out, they had Sunday to basically break everything down and clean up, which, and they had a lot more help than the setup did. So it's like, I don't feel guilty at all about bugging out of here. Because I stayed at a hotel in a nearby town, which was actually very nice. It was cleaner than some of the places I've stayed the last year or so of traveling around. It's like, actually, this is kind of a nice place.
Yeah, nice. That's good. I'm glad you had a good time doing all that. So, what's next, Jen? You got anything else before the winter hits that you want to do?
I don't know. I don't know if
Was it cold out there?
it got chilly at night. Yeah, the first night we were cold.
Yeah.
The second night we learned and we had a fire.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be up there going
Again.
into trackways spots or not before the winter hits. But
Yeah.
I'll be heading there probably this weekend. And then was going to do 2 weeks out there, so we'll see how that
Whoa.
pans out. Given
That's a long time.
given the history here lately, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I've been out there in the dark after that, so I'll be fine. And of course,
That'll be
you know, Jen's more than welcome. Come up and check the place out.
How long does it take you, Jen, to get up to where he's at?
I don't even know. Haven't been up there yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's somewhere in between. It's almost center in between Columbus and where I'm at. So it takes me an hour and a half to drive down there.
Oh, okay.
But that's just one of the places that I go to, and I know from being in Ohio or whatever, Northeast Ohio, everyone's like Salt Fork, and then I stay away from there. So
You just want to introduce me to Andy.
Andy, I'd never live that down.
Okay, now there's a story that I gotta know.
He caught an EVP. He's talking, and I don't remember exactly what you said. And you and Mrs. Trackway were out.
I was by myself.
Oh, you were by yourself, Randy? Oh, I thought Mrs. Trackway was there. But he's talking, and like all of a sudden you just hear, "I'm Andy." It's clear as a bell. I'm Andy.
Whoa.
So now Andy is his co-pilot. We give him a hard time.
Yeah, every time I turn around, Andy. Like, oh, come on.
Andy. Andy is waiting. Eyes in the woods.
No.
Andy is waiting.
I've had about enough of. I don't want any more of those EVPs. We did that West Virginia trip, and it'd be I haven't really been doing a whole lot with the channel and stuff, but that's because I am like buried in recordings and audio and video and everything else, and I'm going through each one of them slowly. But
yeah,
the one night we left Mrs. Trackway and Angie up on one mountain, and me and Bud went over to the other mountain on 4-wheelers, and Deb and Angie decided they were going to walk this trail, and that was freshly cut. They walked back, and I'm listening to the audio, and there's a male voice in the audio, and it says something 3 times. There's an exhale. They get up and like, okay, let's go for a walk. And they start walking, and you hear this voice say, "Follow them." And it's like, okay, I don't need to hear any of this stuff anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
but they didn't hear anything, right? They didn't hear.
No, I had a recorder up there in a tree, and I was recording. Now, looking back on it, I wouldn't stop recording just because the sun's up anymore. But I had a recorder up in the tree next to where we dropped them off and where they set their chairs at. And they knew it was there, but they went do a night investigation, and like I said, that's when the voice popped out, and I was like, oh man. And I mean, you can hear it pretty clear.
Wow, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I had left. They had run them up, and then they came back and took me down to my car because I had to go to work, so I had to bug out.
Yeah.
I missed all the good stuff.
Ah, that always seems to happen. Why does that happen? You know, Brent and Thomas left, and then the good shit happened, and then
during the time up there.
just
Cool.
happens. It just happens.
Well, a
To
lot of time you don't know what happened until like 2 or 3
Sure.
weeks later, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I still have one more interview, another interview I did with Thomas up there, and I still haven't produced that. It's still sitting there waiting.
Wow.
I just haven't. It's so much to go through and produce and edit, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it just got pushed on the wayside. And then Brent put his out because he also had a small interview with him. So it was okay. I was like, okay, Brent put his out. I'll wait on putting mine. But now I waited a long time. So I got to go do that. But it's okay. It's all
I think,
okay.
Thomas and Leon are going to be with Joe tomorrow, I believe.
Oh,
Oh,
I think-
on PIR?
I think that was
okay.
the plan. Yeah. I don't know
Good.
if that's for sure, but
I
I think
hope so.
that was the plan, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He loves hearing from people, so
Yeah. If you have a way to get a hold of Joe and you want to send him some love, he loves it all.
mhm.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. For sure. But other than that, what else is going on? I just wanted to hear about Whitehall and all your stuff, and you know, I've been getting my stuff together. I have too much shit. I really do. But I know once I get out there to the campsite and it's put up, I'm going to be so happy I have all the stuff I have, right? So, oh, I heard the kitty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
Rosie.
It's funny. Trackway earlier was talking about EVPs and stuff like that. We had quite a few ghost investigators at the Border Town Paracon I was at this weekend, and there was one guy in particular. He drove up from Arkansas, and he kind of just finished writing a book about like one of the most haunted places, I guess, there in Arkansas. And he's created a book, the whole thing, and he was playing some EVPs from there. It's the I got the book here. The Crescent Hotel, and the story that goes along just with how this place came to be is crazy. It's like some kind of crazy soap opera tale, which I'll do like a super abridged version. Back in the it was like 1898ish, 1900 time frame. Some rich oil types decided they were going to build this very remote, very exclusive kind of private refuge type hotel out in the middle of nowhere there in Arkansas for the rich and famous, the wealthy to come out there to lounge and all of that. So it's a great big place, which you can see there's big spires up here and things like that at the hotel.
Yeah.
And but where it was so remote that there wasn't a lot of infrastructure like roads and stuff going to it. So they had a long time building it because they just couldn't drive construction stuff in there that well. Finally get it all built, get it opened up. It took a couple, well over a dozen years. Basically, it was open for a few years, and then the Great Depression hits. So they ended up closing down because everybody was broke. All of these rich and powerful socialites they were planning were all broke now. So it sat abandoned for about 20 years. And then out of nowhere, this guy swoops into town there, buys up the property, buys up the local radio station, and starts running this radio station. He fixes up the old hotel, basically turning it into a hospital, and starts advertising on his radio station, I have the cure for cancer. The guy was a flim-flam guy. He was a con artist.
Ah.
But for years, he was selling people this fake cure for cancer, and people were coming from all over the country to get this, where you could rest up in luxury in the old Crescent Hotel, that kind of thing.
Did they make that into a movie?
I don't think so. It does kind of sound sort of familiar. But this is a real thing. But of course, all of the people that he cured or was trying to cure, of course, died from their cancer horribly. There at so a lot of people died there, and they're not happy about it now in the afterlife as ghosts. And I ended up picking up his book because I chatted with him for quite a while, and then he did a presentation where kind of fleshed out some of the details of the place. Because as it turns out, because this is by Sean Fitzgibbon, you can still get this book. And what's interesting about this book, if you're someone that doesn't like to read, this is a hardback, but it's done in graphic format. So it's like a comic book.
What?
He did all the artwork himself about the whole story, because while he was researching this place, he was talking to, because he got all the public records, he got that, and was talking to surviving family members from all the parties involved. And he got into this, talking to one family member. He was telling me he was probably going to write a book. And like, would you like to look at their old letters? We still have them from nearly 100 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I would. So a lot of the conversations that you see going on in this comic, this graphic novel, are basically based on what he found reading personal letters by all these people and all this stuff. And you find out what happens to the flim-flam man that came into town selling the cancer cure and everything else. But it's a really wild ride. It's great. I was super happy to meet him.
That's cool.
No, I don't get anything for the book.
So now that place is a museum, you said?
No, it's because of course it all falls through in the end around about World War II time frame. And it sat abandoned pretty much for the rest of that time. So much like, some of these other old, like Waverly Hills and other haunted type sites, you can go up there and pay, a minimal price, and they let investigators run around in there and collect EVPs and take pictures and things like that. So there's been a lot of stuff to come out of the old Crescent Hotel.
Well, it sounds cool. I like that kind of stuff, though.
I don't particularly like it. It just seems to follow me around.
See, we needed Nikki out in West Virginia.
Really, you can just stop right at West Virginia. As soon as I heard you say that, because there's a lot of weird in West Virginia. Because it's one of those weird places that kind of has it all, where you get cryptids, you get ghosts, you get UFOs, you get goblins, you get all kinds of crazy stuff going on in West Virginia.
Okay.
Well, to get back to that place, you drive a dry creek bed, and you hope that it stays dry by when it comes time to leave, or you're stuck there. And you get back there. First, you wonder, like, how did they build this house back here?
And a barn.
Because it's like the barn, the garage, all of it.
Wow. Well, that whole East Coast.
Well, my first trip down there is probably one of them.
What?
My
Cat got his tongue.
His internet's going in and out or something.
It might be me.
You're talking in and out. No, what you're saying?
The new cat's getting you.
Better now, or is it still?
We hear you. When we hear you, we really hear you.
Out.
Oh,
okay. Sorry.
Or did Freya eat your?
But yeah, one of my best EVPs came out of West Virginia, and we're in that house, and that I'm walking out, and there's a voice that says it returns every night. Speaking about,
voice said
I'm
it
assuming it's
returns
about
every
the
night?
caretaker. Yeah. So the house itself has got some great stories on the inside, and the grounds have got great stories on the outside. And I got shown the inside to one night about 1 or 2 in the morning. And I recorded as we went, but I've never aired the video. But as the story's told, there was a caretaker that used to be there, and the caretaker wired up lights all around the outside because there's something he said that comes down there every night. And then he would only stay in one room in the house because he said there's something inside the house. So he had it like both ways. And when I saw that the caretaker left all his fishing gear, he just left everything, his fishing gear, you name it, just left it all there and took off. And we're walking through the house. As we go to leave, I'm turning past the door, or past one of the bedroom doors, and turning to go outside. And I catch a voice on the recorder, says it returns every night. And we didn't hear that. I didn't hear that for, I don't know, until I checked the audio and went through the video, and then it was pretty clear. So that was probably one of the clearest ones I've got so far.
I'm sure you have another one there that, as he's turning in the video, like the light of the camera kind of pans through, and I really think underneath that it says "Bring the light back."
Mm-hmm.
Bring the light back. Wow. I'm glad you can't
kind of
hear
got to
some of
watch
that
it
stuff
too.
right away. You have to watch it?
You kind of got to, yeah, because sometimes there are true EVPs, okay, and if you get them on multiple cameras and whatnot, or recording devices, likely that's a true. And then there are EVPs that you can accidentally create. So if you're like moving the microphone away while talking, that can cause a mistaken EVP or a false EVP, whatever you want to call it. Or you might say something underneath your breath and not even realize it. So you can accidentally. When you find one of these, you really got to spend time and dig into it and look at it. Because like one of the first ones, be probably the second one or third one actually we ran into. We was out in the woods walking, and I stepped off the road in the dark, and I just about ate it, and listening to the recording, and listening to the recording, you hear this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just caught Bigfoot shooting me with infrasound or something, And then as I check the other recordings, no, it's my wife going, yeah, that can happen. So it's just that movement of the recording device, that distorts it so much that, she sounded like a male. And then I have another one where it sounds like a female talking, but it's actually me. And again, that's because of swinging the microphone or whatnot.
Right.
So you really got to pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Worst thing I ran into in West Virginia was the hillbillies from the movie Wrong Turn. Oh my God.
Wrong Turn. I would say bugs.
Yes.
We got 8 alive down there in September.
Bugs from hell.
Oh. You guys have a lot of ticks?
No, it was mostly
Ohio does.
Biting flies and mosquitoes up there.
Yeah. Are they those big mosquitoes, or are those little ones that are pain in the ass?
I don't know, but I came home, like my one leg was ate up, my arms was covered.
Oh my God. We did not get a lot of mosquitoes this year because we do. Okay. We're right off the Rio Grande and we tend to get a lot of mosquitoes. But this year we didn't. But when it did rain and they came out, they were itty bitty and they bit through your shirt. It wasn't, it didn't matter. They were getting through your shirts. It was horrible and it hurt. They weren't itchy. They were actually sore bites. Good thing I only got a couple, but, and that we didn't have a lot, there wasn't, droves because our first year here was ridiculous. I'm like, that's when, we got a deal on this land. And nobody wants to be with all these damn mosquitoes. But it was bad. They were really bad, it's kind of evened out now that the whole area is finally built up and all the houses are in. So all that weeds that were all over this whole area are gone. It's definitely helped.
Well, are you squeamish about spiders?
Not if I see them. If I see them, I'm fine. It's those randos that all of a sudden they're on you or something that I'm like, yeah, but I'm not, no, once I see one, then I just go get them and, whatever. But
Bud's in the chat too. I don't know if you want to drop another link, seeing we're talking about.
Bud's awesome. Bud and Angie are awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're a lot of fun.
There you go. There's a link. If you want to join, you're welcome to do so. It's cool.
We went trailblazing up one of the ravines looking for caves, footprints, or whatnot. And the smart one, Jen, she turned around. And there was one point.
And I whipped his trail cam.
Yeah. There at one point, I swear I was watching. I wear glasses, and I'm watching spiders running down my glasses on both sides, and I'm out in front. So I'm like, somebody give me a stick, and I'm waving the stick, trying to knock all the spider webs down from me. So I give it a flick. First 6 inches broke off, and I give it another flick. There went another 6 inches. Next thing I know, I'm standing there with a wand from Harry Potter, and I'm just shaking it right in front of me, trying to get all the spider webs.
Oh my goodness!
Tearing up through that ravine, and that was a trip.
Wow,
that was a trip.
To go find
we had
caves that weren't caves.
Caves that weren't caves.
Caves that were.
It was.
They were banks. They weren't caves.
In a way, I mean, I had a good time.
You have to be careful in some parts of West Virginia. You can find old mines too, because back in the late 1800s, they just start digging holes, and there'd be coal and everything else in it, which was a lot of money back. To find any rich vein of coal or anything else there. And I know I lost a lot of kin back in my history in that area that died those old coal mines, but there were always little startups all the time up in there that they just dig a little ways in, and it would kind of dry out, and they just leave it, just this big hole in the ground.
Well, we have issues with that up around here where we live. So, parts of the city north of us, they've been worried about that, like 4 or 5 homes falling into one of the underground coal mines. And then Route 70, some years ago, coming out of Columbus, a giant sinkhole opened up where the coal mine underneath it collapsed.
Wow.
So,
yeah, well, when I lived in Pennsylvania, we would take trips up to, doggone, I can't remember the name of the town now. The one that's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got somebody coming in. Hello, BF Buds in the house.
Hey, Bud.
Welcome.
Nikki, how you doing?
Good, good. Doing good.
Trackway.
Hanging in there.
You're,
How you doing, buddy?
Should I turn my face off since Bill won't show his?
I'm in the back and I have my phone.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use your real name, Trackway.
Yeah, it's okay. I have my phone sitting on the charger, so if I turn the camera on, all you're going to see is the ceiling. So I'll go through battery that quick.
Oh man.
So
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, Jen and Trackway went with me and Angie to West Virginia, our favorite spot, and we had a ball.
Yeah.
We caught a lot of great stuff.
oh, we had
Yeah.
How long were you guys out there?
I haven't gotten.
Hey, Nikki, I'm getting an echo and a delay.
And a delay?
Did I
Maybe
do
go
something
out and come back in again.
wrong? Okay.
Try it one more time.
Sometimes that happens with StreamYard.
Yeah. But none of us are echoing right now. So
Oh.
yeah.
I think Trackway was cutting in and out a little bit while he was trying to. Well, Bud first came in. I think that might have been part of the problem. So.
Okay.
It's all your fault, Track.
Jeez.
He'll pop back.
It's not my
in
fault.
just
It's
a minute.
Andy's.
Yeah, it's true. Well,
I'm going to blame Andy for everything.
Floating around you, trying to force their way onto the stream.
Ugh.
Okay, let's see if that helped.
Welcome back, Bud.
Thank you. There we
There
go.
he is.
It was my fault. I still had
YouTube. Yep.
Oh,
That'll do it every time.
Yeah, I'm done.
Rookie move. That's a rookie move. That's what we
Yeah,
always say.
My wife's the smart and pretty and the tech person of the couple. I'm just.
So what kind of stuff did you capture out there in West Virginia?
Well, the last time it was pretty weird. I had 4 recorders out, and every single one of them was pretty much ruined for the whole. What was we there? 3 days, Bill?
4 days. 4 days.
4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. You left on 4
4
days.
days.
Yeah, I had 4 recorders out every night, and every single one of them was electronically interfered with.
What?
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was just shutting off all the time, or
No, it actually sounded. Oh heck up. Let's see. How about just 100 hours worth? Yeah, I mean it gave you a headache to listen. I'd fast forward still the whole way through. So,
What would do that?
And
I don't know, but
Bud had most of his stuff on one side of the valley. And I had my stuff on the other side of the valley. And his stuff got interfered with. And the other thing was one of my cameras got interfered with when we took Jen out. And then when we went back up the hill to get so I don't understand what exactly happened there, because his recorders were interfered with, and then the camera, we drove Jen out, dropped her off, came back. I put the camera on top of the 4-wheeler and just let her run, and it ran just fine. And then when we went back up the hill to get Deb and Angie, it corrupted again.
wow.
So
Are there like big power lines running through that area?
there ain't nothing on top of the mountains.
Yeah.
Because the previous time that me and Engine and Trackway went with us, I got a lot of great sounds, and I even got a hum, a buzz, or to me it sounds like a sump pump going off like in a pond or a well, but there's nothing around. Trackway can confirm that there ain't nothing around up there.
Could you only hear that hum on the recording, or could you hear that with your own ears?
No, I couldn't hear it with my own ears, just on the recording, and I got it all night that night. I bet I got it 30 different times on the recorder overnight.
Have you run a compass up there to see if you've got any kind of magnetic pole or something?
I carry digital and a normal
real
compass, and everything's. I carry the tri-field meter, and everything's fine.
Wow.
But
That's weird.
But Bill's the tech guy. He's got it all.
Yeah.
And he knows what to do with it. So
Right.
he's pretty good. And then Jen, she's the intuitive, I guess you'd call it, Jen.
Something like that.
Empath or something like that, or yeah.
Cool. Wow. So what do you do with that? You know, you keep trying every day or whenever you go out to see if there's a I don't know, where maybe it doesn't happen or.
Well, several times I'll put the right after I got that hum or buzz, whatever you want to call it. The next time I went, I put the recorders back in the same exact spot, and I've never picked it up again since. But this last time, like I said, it was all interfered with some kind of sound. You couldn't hear nothing.
Ooh, maybe a UFO came and knocked everything out.
Well, this was also the first time where I heard. This last trip was the first time I heard a whooping person.
Oh.
And this was during the daylight, and Jen was down in the valley at the pond, and Bud and Angie were working back in there. Deborah and I was sitting on top of the other ridge, and I was running a 3D image. And then while sitting there, I heard for the first time just that whoop.
Just plain like that.
So,
wow.
And, Bud and Angie were on their way back over to me because I was sitting over at the pond by myself.
Oh, so I dropped you off there. That's right.
And then they got back, and Trek gets on the walkie, and he's like whispering. We're like, what? What? And then we're sitting there listening. Then Bud and Angie went to go hike up behind, up Mount St. Helens of West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there listening. I had the walkie, and I could hear in between where I was and where Bill and Deb were. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the funny thing was whenever we left somebody alone, and we don't leave nobody alone for very long, just a few minutes. But whenever we left, especially one of the women, then they started hearing a lot of stuff when they was alone by themselves.
And
well, that seems to be the thing, right? There's many things said like that, where if there's a woman in camp, that they tend to vocalize.
Seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think even Alex Petakov's up there on that Alaska thing, area A or whatever. Whenever there was a woman there, they would hear a baby crying.
Oh, I'd be scared.
So
that's very scary.
Kind of scary, yeah.
Well, the first trip we made there, I had my GoPro, and I don't know how it got on time lapse, but somehow I bumped it on, turned it on, and I sat it down, and Bud and I ran back to the pond to run a full spectrum camera, and we left Angie sitting there by herself.
Yeah.
And
that's when Angie said she heard something over in that creek.
And that's when one of the recorders, I captured whatever that sound was of something coming down into the creek next to us.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Wow. But
I
would say probably.
No, my wife won't even go in that house. I mean, and then if I go in, it's just a real quick trip. It ain't very long. I'll go chase a big hairy 8-foot tall thing in the woods at dark. But if something says "boo, get out," I'm gone.
I think I agree. I agree with that. Something about.
And Deb and I were gonna go in the house and do stuff, but we just ran out of time to do that. So they were all out doing their thing and whatever. So I'm sitting there and by myself, and I'm just sitting there and looking at the house, and from inside the house I hear food really loud. I'm like, what the? So I grabbed my phone and I went in and I walked around and talked to the house and let the phone run as a recorder. I didn't get anything on it, you know, but
Uh-huh.
But this trip, some of the stuff that is in Jen's recording and from Washington, I also have found in recordings that we took in West Virginia.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, Trackway.
Mhm.
That's pretty
So
neat.
things like the I call it a swallow. I don't know how to describe it. That we found that. We found the one that bothers me the most is the yoo-hoo. I don't know what that is doing that, but found that in both. And then and this is kind of odd because I haven't found it yet in any of the stuff from New York. A lot of
yeah, a lot of pop.
a lot of pops.
Really?
And in the audio this
I had
time,
2 from Washington.
Two pops.
In the-
Two pops.
in the audio that this time, and I haven't broken any of it down. I'm still in the process of just like looking for big stuff in the audio and the video from West Virginia. There is, I would call it the mother of all pops, a really huge one, and then you hear this giant splash in the pond, and like something was thrown in it. There's no beaver in the pond, so there's no tail splashing or nothing. Something got launched into that pond, and that's just a little bit of some of the audio and some of the video stuff that we did bring back from that trip.
Yeah,
I don't think I heard the yoo-hoo though. Now I'm like,
Yeah, you kind of with her audio, you got to listen for it, and then I had to dig for it and bring it out a little bit. But yeah, because our last trip to West Virginia, we definitely got another yoo-hoo, and we got a yoo-hoo back at that pond, and then there's a yoo-hoo in her audio, which I don't know why I don't like hearing it. But
I've got some good news about Gary's place there, Trackway and Jen.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's selling the place, but the guy who's buying it lives in Washington State, and they're drawing up a contract where Gary will be the caretaker for the next 8 years until he retires and then moves there. So and then Gary's got permission to invite guests or let them stay there. So it's looking pretty good. I think we still might be able to keep the place.
Awesome.
So you ghost hunters can do your ghost hunting stuff, and I'll just stick to the woods.
No, I'm done with that. I stay away from that stuff.
I do too.
Sounds like it doesn't stay away from you, though.
You just have to point that out, don't you?
Yeah.
I thought we were friends, Enzo.
If it's coming to you, you might as well pay attention to it, is the way I see it.
I think so much history is on that East Coast, all from Virginia, West Virginia, and down because of all the war and, stuff that's happened. It's all over there, all the way up. I think a lot of death happened and
a lot of the Civil War.
Yeah. It's creepy. Yeah. For sure.
I know I think Jen and Bud have heard it both so far, but I would say probably one of my I got 2 favorites so far from our last trip to West Virginia. One, the recorder's sitting up in a hill. That's where Angie and Deb walked off, and you heard, follow them.
Yeah.
But the day before, you hear something up there, and you hear a mason jar being opened. You hear the screws being undone, and then shortly thereafter, you hear the pop of the seal. So something's got a mason jar up there, and it's popping a seal. And
white lightning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that goes on in West Virginia, still to this day.
And then
Whoa.
quite a bit. Like I said, I haven't gotten through it all. One project kind of got to the forefront, so I'll be working on that stuff again here pretty soon. But along with the whole like half dozen other projects that I haven't been working on.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, that's what
Trackway, did
happens.
Miss Trackway experience anything that last time?
I don't. She hasn't said. I'm not sure. She's in chat, so.
Yeah, I saw she was in chat, but I ain't got to talk to her about it or anything yet. So
She had one of our full spectrum cameras with her and Angie as they were going through the woods. She's heard those recordings from her and Angie sitting on the hill.
yeah, I told Angie about them. She freaked out. So
I don't believe.
She just said we didn't hear nothing, but she said that's awful weird knowing that voice is there.
So
I would say, jeez.
it's kind of like, I don't know if there's an intermixing of things going on.
What was they calling themselves that night? Do you remember, Trackway?
No, I'm not saying it.
I won't repeat it either.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember, Jen? Jen,
Oh, God, it changed so many times.
Yeah, they had a couple names for themselves. Yeah.
Well, I tried to get away with the Fellowship of the Foot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
A weird animal sound on B.
Sure. Weird animal sound on B.
Do you want to hear Angie's series on why women get more interaction?
Okay, I will leave. There's only so much I can do. I'll put my fingers in my ears and running around circles yelling la 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 la.
Jeez.
He was doing it at camp. No,
I don't want to know.
Yeah, he's done that a few times.
What?
Then women
Angie
get
had
ornery,
an
but
interesting
men get
experience.
Me and Trackway have to leave, and women get ornery.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start scaring us.
Yeah.
well,
But
then that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, we had a ball. At least we did anyway. So
Oh,
I hated Jen had to leave, especially that last night.
Yeah. Dang adulting.
No kidding. No kidding.
well, now she's got a vehicle she can drive back there when the river isn't flooded or when the creek bed isn't flooded.
Yeah, I've seen that. Looked pretty
And
nice.
she can camp back there.
Oh, good.
It would be nice to go back there when the canopy is down.
Yeah. What would that be? Probably late October, probably when all the leaves fall off.
Yeah, late October. I would probably say maybe even second, third week in November.
Yeah, it'd probably be
They're saying things are a little bit later this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, all the leaves turning, everything seems to be just a couple of weeks.
Because Bud's wife had an experience on that property, and yeah, go ahead. You want to tell it, Bud?
Oh, you mean the growl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it scared her to death. I mean, it was just me and her that time, and we was packing up, had everything packed up, loaded up. All I had to do was just unload the weapons, and I took my mag out and went to unchamber the round there, and it got jammed on me. So I just took it off safety and fired. There was a great big bank right beside where we camped, right beside the drill. I just fired it in the bank. I didn't even bother to put on my earmuffs or nothing, and so my ears were ringing when I shot. And when I shot, I guess because that bank is where we've had eye shine and sounds, especially when we're camping. And so we think they observe us from there, because I always like to try to give them the high ground anyway. But I guess something let out a growl that I didn't hear it. My ears were ringing, but Angie said she felt more than she heard it, because it rattled her insides, and she just jumped in the truck and started hollering at me, "Get in the truck, get in the truck, get in the truck." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Get in the truck, get in the truck." I was like, "Okay." Yeah, I just put the gun away and out we went, and she was shaking the whole way home. And when I got home, I even played different sounds from YouTube for animals, and the closest that she said that it came to was a tiger when it was doing its mouth. It kind of do a growl with its mouth closed, just kind of more like the infrasound or something before they attack or something, is what the channel said. I ain't no expert, I don't know much about tigers, but that's what the TV said. And that's the closest she said she could find. So, because any other animal out there, if you shoot a weapon, they ain't gonna stick around and growl at you.
I don't have a tiger sound. I have this one.
Yeah, I mean, Angie said that's close as she could hear. It rattled her insides more than she could hear it. She said, it scared her to death. But it was just me and her though. So.
Yeah, the last trip that we was there and about where she got growled at, the 5 of us were sitting there, and I look up and I'm seeing what looks like a silhouette. So Angie's sitting, she's the only one sitting online that could possibly see it as well. And I'm like, "Angie, just kind of look over your shoulder and look up there and see if you see something." And then it came out, "Hey, I think I'm seeing a silhouette." And so the challenge got threw down. "Well, why don't you go up there and see what it is?" I'm like, "Okay, here I go. Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Nikki's words rang in my head. Nobody ever goes and looks at it. So I'm
Nobody ever goes and looks at it.
I'm like, well, somebody ought to go look. And he's like, okay.
I mean, you only have to go a little ways before you're either going to see movement, okay, or hear something. And then you can not go. Then you can stop and back off. But nobody ever takes that next couple of steps just to do that. And I get it because you hear a growl or something like that, and all of a sudden it's like the game changes.
The very
Bill hiked up that hill. Bill hiked up that hill and dug around up there. He did it. He done did it.
The very first time Trackway went with us, we caught you seen movement behind the house going up the hill towards the barn. Remember Trackway?
Yep.
We went over to that hill, see if we could see it. And one of the times that me and Angie went alone, I got drilled in the chest by a great big mud clod. I mean, it just wham exploded.
What?
A mud clod about that big. It just drilled me square in the chest. I mean, bam! It just exploded. And I looked over at my wife Angie. Well, she's sitting in the side by side, looking down at her phone, playing. So, and we're at the very tip of the mountain up here, Connie's Knob, we call it, or Bigfoot Mountain. And so I seen the direction it came from. I just took off down the hill and had my thermal, and I was scanning and running down that mountain and looking in it, because some of them trees are Bill, Trackway, and Jen couldn't get our arms around them, all 3 of some of them trees. So I'm scanning the trees, I'm scanning the bush. Nothing.
Almost Washington big.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, close, not quite that big, but some of them trees are 200 years old. So, but I just took off down that mountain. I'm like, I know he's got to be right, because we're at the very tip. So it had to come straight on, because I just started pulling my phone out and it said wham, it just exploded all over me. So, and I took off down the mountain, and Angie's up there, "Where you going?" She said, "Hey, where you going? I said, "Get the video recorder, start recording this way, and come on down if you're scared." And I'm still looking and looking, and like, I know it came from this way. Or nothing. I was like, son of a gun.
Dang. Oh, I don't know. Because Jen, remember when we were up there, when we went straight up like towards where the portal was, what I call the portal, okay, just an area. We went dark, and we were out there, all of us, a bunch of us, And Brent goes, wouldn't it be crazy if we started getting hit with pine cones right now? And I was like, yeah, that would scare the crap out of me right now if that happened, you know? I don't know, you know, getting pelted with rocks or all that stuff is, I don't know. Because, you know, a bear can't do that, you know?
Mhm.
You know, something needs hands to do that. I mean, it's one thing to be in the woods and something falls because, you know, acorns fall, pine cones fall. We know that chipmunks and squirrels throw shit down, but stuff that's thrown, that's a whole different
Yeah.
ball game.
I've always heard of people being thrown at but not hit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a couple I've heard that's actually been hit, but this guy drilled me square in the chest. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
No,
you had your tactical gear on though, right?
Yeah. It was our second or third time going there, and we didn't do nothing aggressive. We just looked aggressive. You know, I had the bear spray and you know, here and the tri-field meter and the thermal and my night vision. I had everything, you know,
Yeah.
from on my military. You know, just my wife said, "Man, you look like a federal agent." So I haven't wore that stuff since and never been hit again. So I'm gonna try to talk trackway and wearing that stuff next time.
Well, I wear my helmet all the time.
Yeah. Oh, did you show anybody that little video clip?
I send it off to Mike Larson.
Okay.
So
I've
it's kind of
showed just a couple people. You know how. I mean, I'm just afraid to who to show it to and all. So.
Yeah, what he's referring to is that my helmet cam. I was wearing that, and as I was going back to the pond by myself on the 4-wheeler, I saw what looked like a head moving through the trees across the pond. I had a static camera there, and as well as the helmet cam. The helmet camera, which was a Tacticam, was set to 4K.
Yeah.
And I was looking to see, because I couldn't tell at the time if it was because I was moving, because sometimes when you're moving, you'll see something that isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like a stick or something, just because your perspective is changing.
Right.
So I went through the helmet camera, and I really went through the video, and I thought, well, you can see as I'm pulling up, I've got a static cam pointed in the area as well. But the cameras don't say the same story. So the one camera kind of sees a couple of things in movement, which might be, I'm not quite certain yet if it's because of the image stabilization or whatever. When I figure it out, I'll put it out. But the static camera, it didn't pick up anything. But they were both running at the same time, and they were both pointing at the same area. So what I tried to do is with the static cameras, reach out and find something far away, and that's what you're talking about, right, Bud? That video there.
Yeah, that one we're using on the 4-wheeler, and you thought you seen something move, and you stopped and you scanned your helmet, and I ain't gonna say what you caught, but yeah, I've showed it to a couple people, and they said, "Yeah, we see something there, but it's a few seconds," and I just hate to say anything. So
yeah. So
nightmare still.
Yeah,
it could be, like I said, it could be something technical with the camera itself and whatnot. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
It's hard to do that. Like you said, your perspective is different. It's you're moving, and then you have your camera, because that's the same thing with that leaf that I saw on the trail. When I looked in the camera in my phone, it looked like this little eye shine, but it wasn't. And it wasn't even as far back as what it appeared like on my phone. Because it looked like it was far beyond this tree, but it was barely like 7 feet off the trail.
Mm-hmm.
So it really messed with your
Perspective.
Yeah, your perspective. It really messed with you. But I instantly got it back the minute I started to walk in. And I'm like, oh, it's right there. It's just this leaf. But it gave an image like it was 20 feet back behind, everything. And because I was walking and I wasn't looking at that side. I was looking at my phone, so it really messed with what it was, but it happens. And I think it happens a lot for a lot of people.
AKA the Brent butt footage.
Oh yeah, that was that night, the butt footage. So
yeah, it's the that night that I thought I had people in the woods with me and I was out alone, that ended up being, my perspective was not what I thought it was. I thought I was looking up. But what I was doing is I was looking down, and because there was still a canopy, the lights in the distance and the wind was making it look like there was people walking through the woods.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
We figured that part of that particular situation figured out. The rest of it, no. Other than I do get with these glasses some reflection of light that kind of drive me nuts from time to time. But yeah, the rest of that night, it's pretty solid. So.
Wow. Well, that's all we can do, right? We keep going out there and gathering more and more information, and hopefully at some point it's all going to make it worth it.
So you're supposed to be going camping. So what are you ready?
I hope so. I have enough shit I'm taking with me. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know. I wish I could load the truck up tonight so that tomorrow I can just get up and go. But I don't trust leaving it outside in this area. We got a new truck and it doesn't have a tonneau cover. So anything I put in the back is just going to have a tarp over it.
Mm-hmm.
And until we can save up to get another cover.
Is this your first solo?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my daughter's going. My 16-year-old is going with me, and her boyfriend, who's 17. So they're going. That way they can stay at the camp while I go out.
Whereabouts are you going to? Approximately.
About 2 hours north of here.
Okay.
Of where I'm at right now, in Otero County, New Mexico.
And you got your whistle?
I got a new whistle too. Yeah, I have that whistle and a compass, and I got a new 130 decibel alarm that has a whistle with it too, that I can put on my pack. And I got a couple of bear sprays, and what else did I get?
Did you get any audio equipment and stuff?
I didn't go. That's going to have to be for the next paycheck, unfortunately. I do have a recorder. Okay, I do have one, but it's really old, so I don't know how good it's going to be. But that'll go with me, and hopefully the next trip I can have better sound stuff. But right? You can't do it all at once. You just, has to be a little at a time, and I'll get everything I need eventually. But this first round will just be me getting my feet wet, right? Just learning the area, finding out where all these sightings happened. And I've got all kinds of maps of places that I'm going to go. I want to check out. And I did happen to secure a witness that's going to take me out to her sighting area. So that's going to be fun. Which is a little bit different area than where I'm going to be at. And come to find out, as I was doing some research earlier, that the place I'm actually going to camp at is where they have vocals. They have been having vocals happen.
Wow. That close to you? That's great.
Yeah.
Go up there and investigate it. There's
7 sightings that are just north of where I'm going to be. And I'm thinking there's a lot in the area I'm at, but they haven't been formally recorded. They haven't been put in BFRO or the Bigfoot Mapping Project or anywhere else. So, because there has been those 7 just north of where I'm going to be at. And they were all off of a highway. Matter of fact, they were all, actually, I think I have it right here in one of these. Okay, so we had silhouetted figures swaying outside a window, nighttime sighting by a resident, open window, something reached inside an open window. Campers heard screams at midnight, and that's where my camp is going to be at. Possible nighttime sighting by a resident in Carrizo neighborhood. Incidents around a home in Mescaleto, a nighttime sighting in Mescaleto, and that's where I was. Oh, bless you. Last week. But I wasn't there camping. I was there going to a concert. So.
Hey, Nikki, I appreciate you having me on. I got to go pick up my boy from work here.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I seen Trackway and Jen on and had to say hi. I didn't know you'd invite me on, but I appreciate it. And Enzo, nice to meet you. And
nice meeting you, bud.
And tell Miss Trackway I said hello.
She's down in the chat. So
I can't see the chat. I don't know how to operate this thing. Like I said, my boss is the tech one.
You did great. You did fine.
Jen, Trackway, give me a call.
We'll do.
Right. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great.
So, yeah, that's the plan. I want to try to get out here super early. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to load up tonight. I'm just going to get up super early in the morning and just do it because I've got a lot of stuff, like I said. But I don't know what to tell you. I feel like I need all that stuff. And I think if I was by myself, I would not need all that stuff because I think I would do what Jen does and I would buy one of those backseat sleep mattresses to blow up in the back seat of the truck, or even my car. I could probably do like Jen's. So if I, and then I just minimalistic type stuff would probably be nice and better. But with the kids and everything, I'll take all my gear and make them dinner and stuff like that out there. So I need all my stuff.
Yeah, that was the one thing I did take away from the Whitehall experience is that, when those guys stepped out of the vehicle, they grabbed the belt, threw it on, they were gone.
Yeah.
It was shoo, and I'm still standing there in the truck going, okay, where's this piece?
Yeah.
I need this card for this battery. You know what? I didn't clear out any of my SD cards, so hang on while I reformat everything.
Yeah. Definitely. I think I would love to produce a lot of content, but you're right. The more stuff you record, video, it takes a long time to go through that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather do probably go shorter videos, just of here, there, little things that I'm finding interesting instead of recording from the beginning to the end, because it was too much stuff to go through, frankly. And a nightmare. Anything over 30 minutes was a nightmare to upload to the drives and all that business. So
you get to a point where you're like, you know, you want to tell how you get from the point A to point B to point C. And then, you know, by the time you get through all the material to get to where you're telling the story, you've already got new material to start going through.
Right. I don't want that to happen, you know. And I'm a horrible videographer for sure, because I'm brand new at it. So I think it would be probably better for me just to do smaller little things of, look, this is the area I am in, here I am, I'm gonna go, okay, I'm shutting it off, and then just concentrate on myself and the investigation. And then if I come up to something, I can turn it on and say, look, I just ran into this looks interesting. I think that's what I'm going to try as I go and I get more comfortable, and I don't have to pay attention. I mean, I know you have to pay attention all the time, but as I get comfortable being out there with the bears, because it's a very high bear count this year. The bears. And that, you know, just like Brent knows too, that's my thing. I'm scared of bears, you know. So, and I know he goes right up to them and everything, but I can't do that. No. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be, you know, I just stay clear type of thing.
Well, yeah, and then the next thing you run into too is that as you collect all this, you're going to find out that different recorders, different, you know, whether it's audio or video, they do their own format. And then when you do 1080p, you know, if you got something 720p, you're trying to take it up to 4K and it looks like complete crap. And then, you know, you've got 4K, you got to bring it down to 720. You always got to work down. You can never work up. And you got all this stuff to consider and think about. And, you know, the guys that make this stuff look easy, you know.
Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? Christmas is right around the corner. I'll just put a few things on my wish list, and maybe, you know, by spring of next year, I'm going to be even better. But until then, I'm going to use hopefully this, and I'm going to try to do another one by myself, day trips, to really get the lay of the land and figure out where I want to go. And I've been, you know, all these little feelers I've been putting out here in New Mexico. I actually got a guy who's contacted me that he's been trying to put, I guess, a group together for over a year now in this area. And most of the researchers are in the north part of New Mexico, so they don't want to come down. Or, you know, he's having issues getting them showing up and stuff like that. I don't know his whole story, but we've been chatting and he seems pretty excited that he's found somebody else interested in this area. So we're going to try to make something happen. So I might not be alone for very long. So we'll see how that all works out.
Yeah. How long do you plan on being out there?
We'll come back. Leaving tomorrow morning, coming back Sunday. Okay. Sunday, so the full weekend. And I might still have a show on Sunday night, because we're just going to get up, have breakfast, and we're going to pack out. And then it only take us about 2.5 hours to get home. So if we don't stray, you know, if I don't take them here and there, and because on the way we passed White Sands on the way home, and that's always a fun little thing to go see the White Sands. So that could be another video. So I don't know if we feel like we're not exhausted, then we might, you know, take a quick trip to White Sands and play in the sand for a little bit.
Yeah, I know we talked a little bit about some of the things that I you know, suggested as far as audio. You know, if you got a big area, you kind of, if it was up to me and I had to do it all over again, I would have focused on the little audio recorders, those cheap little recorders to dial me into an area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I would also put at the front of that list is some kind of window unit that you can just suction cup to your vehicle.
Mhm.
You know, because I put the GoPro up in my windshield all the time when I'm driving, and would say that would probably be the next piece of equipment that I would highly recommend is that $15 if you have a GoPro or something that you can use.
Mhm.
So you mean you
Um,
have 24 hours of driving looking at the back end of my car?
I ran it a little bit. I didn't really start running it until we had that electronic failure,
Right.
and that's whenever I started running it, and I would only run it and comment about, you know, the area, you know, how you know, the rolling hills are where Joe lives at and how scenic it was, and or going up to Whitehall there. Um, when we got up through Whitehall, the convoy up the hill, coming back, or, you know, just if I had something to say, you know, because especially on the trip, I don't know how many times I caught myself like saying over and over and over again, you know, I am worn out. This has been a long drive, you know. Because, well,
Over the course of 4 days, I did a little math. I think we drove
mhm,
4 hours at least.
yeah,
4 days.
yeah.
Wow.
The probably the let's see, something on the second day when we left Joe's sighting area, we stopped somewhere and the temperatures were just bouncing all over the place. It was like 70 degrees, and then it was down at one point. It was in the 60s,
Yeah, we
and
stopped at gas in that little town.
yeah, I got that cup of coffee, that large coffee, because I thought I needed to like amp up my core temperature, and that was a mistake because it soured my stomach drinking that coffee on an empty stomach.
Oh boy.
Oh.
And then when we did go, we stopped that night when we ate with them. I had a large iced tea. So after I alarmed everybody out in the woods that my truck was there, I laid there in the back seat and just kind of, I couldn't sleep. And when I did fall asleep, you know, a couple things, uh, it woke up. You know, I only slept like 3 hours that night, I think, 3 or 4 hours at most. And then we were back on the road again, driving south. But you know, the guys up at Whitehall were very guys, gals, women, the artist, the everybody was. I just want to say, you know, highly supportive of Joe. Um, Alex had stuff that he wanted to send to Joe, but was afraid that, you know, it'd get broken, so we hand transported it back. And some of the one of the artists was we found something that was perfect, and they were just absolute saints with it. So, you know,
Yeah, it was a sign, big white round sign, and it had a Bigfoot face, and on the bottom of it said "Get lost."
Mm.
And I'm like, that's perfect. That's a little bit of both of them.
Yeah.
You know? And I told the guy, you know, what I was buying it for, and he's just like, God bless, take it.
Wow. Nice.
And it was, you know, the fact that it was just so spot on
Yeah.
for him, you know,
Yeah.
and it was just like,
Yeah. For sure. I bet that was hard. Ooh. Um. I says compiling 5 minutes of film takes 5 hours on average. That's how I plan. Yeah, it does.
I think she, oh man, she uses a high frame rate. And oh boy, I can't think of the right word. Is it quality? 5K, 120 frames per second, something really high. So she works with some really big
It's
files.
really, yeah.
Wow.
And
I know. Yeah, I can't. It's hard to do that, and then YouTube compresses everything. And which is
Yeah.
actually good sometimes when I just want to do something quick, like on Canva, because, you know, if you download it to YouTube first, it'll compress it for you and then you can transfer it over to Canva and you can work on it there. I'm not getting probably the best, you know, video out of it, but I don't care. I'm not that big of a stickler. Not like Brent is like, he's got to have this look this way, you know, and he's got this big old camera now thing that he's going to be hauling out for interviews and stuff. But it looks cool. It's kind of intimidating. I don't think I could do anything ever like that.
Yeah, his looks like a professional
It's older though. It's an older thing. Whatever it is.
news camera or something.
Yeah. It's oh dang it. I know I have it right here where he says what it is. Come on. Okay, is that no, that's not it. It's here. I know, it's a big old thing. He talks all technical about it, and I'm like, I have no clue what he's telling me.
And when we got up there with Steve, when we're sitting in the spot and everybody's walking around because there was noises going on and stuff, I was like, I said, this just reminds me of us walking through the woods with Brent in Washington. Isn't this a fun hobby we have?
Yeah. And you know what? I was watching one of the videos when we were also that part where we turned off the lights. Mm-hmm. I never heard Michael, the howler. He says, when I said we can go dark right here, he goes, thanks, Nikki. And I never heard that until way after it already produced the stuff that he had said that. It's kind of funny because he was a little spooked.
That was when we were trying to figure out why the trees were glowing, and it was the lichen.
Yeah, that at that time.
Up at the portal.
Yep. I don't know. I don't remember where. It's a big ass camera. Oh, maybe it's on his Facebook page. Was it on his Facebook page?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. There was one moment that I thought was kind of funny while we was out there with Coles and them, and I'm standing out in the middle of the road, and I believe it was Evan's girlfriend. I never did catch the name. Her and I are standing there, and we can see Eric and we can see Evan down in front of us. Alex hands me his thermal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this thing is like top of the line. And I don't want to touch it. I'm scared to death. And he just,
I know I'm going to drop it. There's going to be a lot of gravity right here when he hands it off to me. It's going to teeter off and crash.
And he goes running up behind us to get a radio because nobody had radios on. And me and her standing there, and she goes, well, I'm scared. I'm going to stand right here with you. And I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm scared too. And as we're standing there, all of a sudden we hear this whoosh, 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 going between us. And we're like, she's like, what was that? And I'm like, well, do I pretend that I have a clue what that was? Or I just like, well, I don't know. Maybe we should run. I have no idea.
Yikes.
Yeah, we're sitting back in the campsite, sitting on a picnic table, and Steve's standing back there, and it's me and Jonathan, Steve, and Jim. And Steve goes, why is Alex running? Is there something going on? I'll be back. And off he went.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
big
didn't
thing.
hear that part.
That's a nice rig.
It's huge. He's already added a thing there to make it digital. Is that what he did?
Mm-hmm.
He did
Yep.
something to change it so that it's digital. So now there's another thing hanging off of it, but I don't know where that picture is. But that's big. That is big. Too many little buttons and look at all that crap. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Well, you know, Brent does actually. Brent's filmography, is that the proper term?
Videography.
Videography. Thank you. Is rather stellar as it is. You know.
Oh yeah, I
thought.
think so. I think so. Oops.
One of the bigger, I can't say dust upper arguments really, but heated conversations when I was down at the Bordertown Paracon this weekend is during the cryptid panel, people arguing about what equipment actually works and what doesn't. And there was a big divide on digital or analog. There were it was a pretty split group as far as which was better, or which was tested and tried and true and all of that stuff. I was kind of surprised by that.
Well, it's big in the Bigfoot because people are saying that the bigger technology with all the gizmos and the IRs and all that they can tell all that stuff. You know, is that's what's driving them away is the trail cams and the lights that are out there, or the humming of the possible electronics, is that they're picking up on that. You know, it's all, is that why, you know?
Some of that, well, you know, the IR part, actually, I believe in. You know, I know some people argue about the yes, no, maybe because you know you're coming from a perspective of you know an animal being able to see the IR, but you know I kind of think that
biologically it doesn't make sense coming from a mammal having that, because anytime they put their hand up, they would just see a glowing arm that would blind them, kind of a thing, if they could see the heat like that.
But I do have captures where it looks like something steps in, triggers it, and then steps back. So I haven't really fully understood that yet. So I don't really say a whole lot about it, other than you know it's an area thing. I don't know. Those are trail cam captures.
Grasshopper says Old Tech 2008 digital tape, no hard drive or discs. Old 2008 digital tape.
Yeah, there's I feel that an argument to be made is because I know in the UFO side and on the ghost side and even on the cryptid side somewhat, you hear stories of people that take all this equipment out with them and all of a sudden batteries are getting drained. They're just the electronic stuff itself just shuts down and they can't get it to restart until they leave the area, and then it works fine. Things like that. So I could see the argument about maybe going a little more old school with bigger, bulkier, more analog type equipment. At least you know it's going to work. It's not going to be dependent on these things that are known to fail.
I mean, when we would go to Mansfield to do ghost hunts, you take extra batteries with you, and there's an actual like little room on the lower level across from Solitary East. You can go in there and there's bathrooms and a table. And it's like a break room, basically. But up on the wall, they had this big bin for you to put your dead batteries in, and it's full.
Wow.
Ginormous bin up on the wall for you to dump your dead batteries in and change your batteries. And it's full.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's kind of crazy. Matter of fact, my daughter's supposed to be bringing me more batteries. I forgot. I needed some. I changed everything out here, but my awning, my canopy has one of those little light systems on it, so it needs D batteries, and I didn't have those great big Ds here in the house. So she's got to bring me some Ds.
Freya's not eating your shoes tonight, Track?
No. Actually, she should be in bed right now. I've got I've got Rosie sitting here bringing me Mr. Crinkles to throw at her. Okay. So she's got these little things. It looks like gift wrapping paper that's all balled up, and this cat just is crazy for him.
My cat loves that foil type of ribbon. That one, oh my god! But he eats it. He'll eat it, and then you have to pull it out of him. I have to be really careful about that stuff and put it away.
Yeah, my mom, growing up, we had a Weimaraner, and he ate all the icicle tinsel off part of the tree. The one,
that can be dangerous too. Can wrap around their organs inside.
Yeah.
Every time he had to go potty for a couple days, he had shiny
glittery poop.
The fanciest poop ever. Yeah.
Parquet poop.
Oh,
It doesn't make it all the way out. It's just dangling behind them as they walk. Yeah.
Now this cat is I guess it's a rare cat. So in her coloration, she's got stripes, and I think that she's a tabby, so it's something that you don't see very much. And it's got a particular name to it, and it's not like a Russian blue or anything like that. But she's a very lovely little cat.
I like cats because they take care of themselves pretty much. Change their box, give them some food. Yeah. Hey guys, we've been on 2 hours. I am gonna bring her to an end.
Alrighty.
And thanks for coming on, Trackway Jen, Enzo. It was fun chatting. Remember, guys, no show Friday, but Sunday I'll try to be here, and I'll give you the download on all my good fortune. We'll say good fortune. All my shenanigans for the weekend, whatever happens. And so hey, thanks guys. Hit that like button on the bottom, and I love you guys, all of you. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next chat.